Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of my Let's Play a World of Tanks here. And, yeah, I've talked about this before, but I think I want to retouch upon it, and because I've been playing a lot of games where I've had teams that really couldn't pull their own weight, and so I've had to make up the difference. And that is just the strength that one platoon can make to a team. And I know a lot of people always complain about, oh, your team's a failed team, or my team couldn't do this or couldn't do that, or just having troubles. And yeah, I've had plenty of failed team games, for lack of a better description. I mean, that is the colloquial that everyone uses, but I mean, it's just a sad part of the game is that sometimes your entire team doesn't work together, or sometimes your team just can't pull it together, or one of a million different reasons as to why your team wasn't able to win. But a lot of times I notice that it does actually take my platoon doing, you know, like 5 kills at a minimum in order to be able to pull an effective team. It's a rarity that you actually find teams that are able to get about a kill apiece, and it's usually 1 or 2 players are very lopsided, and that's what makes all the difference in the world. And that's something that really is, it'd be great if more teams were able to get 1 kill apiece, and that way everyone's pulling their weight and contributing. But a lot of times it doesn't happen. Mistakes happen, like Kurgan getting singled out really quick when he thought he had a decent angle, or, just bad positioning or bad decisions can happen, or you get left out to dry by some of your teammates, and there's nothing you can do. It's just part of the game. Now, to counteract that, though, you really need to rely on a good player or two, and some of that comes from having, a decent platoon on your team. And if you're able to be in that platoon, that can make all the difference in the world. Because if you are in a platoon, you're able to communicate, you're able to work together, you're able to call out targets, watch each other's back if you're dead, or even, one thing it really helps you with is preventing you from getting tunnel vision. And I noticed that no matter what, I'll always get tunnel vision. It's the ability to break myself out of it is the problem. And what is tunnel vision per se? But tunnel vision is where you get so focused on like one target, one section, one area that you stop noticing the bigger picture around you. And it will get you killed every single time because you'll be so focused on taking out either that one tank or securing that one area that you won't notice that, hey, the enemy team has completely captured a flank, and if we divide our team in half, we should be able to stop it. Our remaining team in half, we should be able to stop it and deal with it. Stuff like that. And so it's one of those things where it's really good to have teammates that can, if they're dead, like, as you can see, Kurgan here getting shot out early, he's able to watch between myself and Gilly, and be able to say, hey, you need to go and secure the flag right now because they already have a good group of people on it. Or, hey, this tank isn't watching you, go ahead and push at them. Or any number of things like that that normally you wouldn't because you'd be so focused on this tank over here that maybe you'd miss a crucial opportunity to take out another tank over there. Or you'd end up losing the game because, well, you're dallying around in one position, you don't notice the 3 tanks that are now going to capture the flag before you could get there. Simple stuff like that. As I sit here and attempt to not get shot by this IS-8. Oh well. Didn't have much chance of that one. But yeah, so with with a platoon, not only are you able to call out targets and help each other out when you're dead, but you're also able to assist each other in other ways too. I mean, you can call out targets, fire together, use your strengths like that. You can complement each other with your tank choices, and just in general, if a platoon's working together really well, you can do all sorts of crazy things. Like, you can be able to single source fire, you just put in a volley fire onto one target. There's just so many options that you have and that you can do, and it makes all the difference in the world when you're working with people than when you're working solo, just on the communication standpoint. And yeah, the game does offer in-game voice, and it's highly recommended if you're in a platoon that you take advantage of that and you get a microphone or something. Just a $20 microphone, USB, is easy to set up and it'll work. Or most laptops nowadays have them built in. They're not the greatest, but they work. And they're no, Blue Yeti like what I have, but I use this for recording, and I mean, yeah, so I can also use it for chatting in-game, but I mean, it's the fact that you're able to communicate and work together, and you have that ability to break that tunnel vision. And if you have, 3 tanks working together, you can say, okay, 2 of you are going to focus on this target, the third's going to swing around behind them, or something like that. Just the simple fact of that, where you're able to start employing small tactics against targets that normally, let's say it was myself and Gilly and Kurgan in a different tank against that 95. 2 of us would be able to keep him occupied in the front while the third gets behind him to take him out, because there's no way you're going through a 95 in the front without either gold ammunition or very good luck and aiming very precisely. So, just small things like that make all the difference in the world. And, also, I've noticed that if you see a very good platoon on your team, chances are you are really going to have far and above a better chance of winning the game over individuals who are good on your team, and that's because the ability to work together. Platoons always outrank individuals for the simple fact that they're able to communicate and work together and operate in a group. Whereas if you're solo, it's a crap shot as to if you're going to be able to get, the one guy here or there be able to assist or not, randomly work together and stuff just happen to work out. But with that, I mean, it is also possible that, hey, it's, while you might have 1 or 2 good players on your team, or even 3 or 4, if they're not working together like one decent platoon, there's, it's just a huge difference. And having that ability to communicate and work together is why I never really play solo in this game. I find that 9 times out of 10, well, there are the occasional random times that, I'll do, good things on my own, or as you saw just here, working with this Conqueror, we were able to work together with each other without really doing too much. We just kind of saw what each other were doing, and were able to take out that 95 by just kind of swarming around him, getting behind him, each of us providing a different flank on him so he couldn't go to one tank because he'd get hit by the other. Just that random sort of stuff works out on occasion, but it's mostly where you have a buddy that you're communicating with and you're able to actually coordinate that, as opposed to the randomness that it was with the Conqueror and myself, being able to push it and just get lucky that we were able to see what each other were doing and figure it out. And I'd take a good platoon any day over a bunch of good solos, for that simple fact that, yeah, while we were able to do it, it's random, but Gilly and I can work together far easier than me and a random person who I cannot communicate with. So, always highly recommend grabbing yourself a platoon and communicating, and you'll see that your win rate goes up much higher than just random play. So, let's go ahead and move on to another battle here. So, while not a fantastic game, it was a pretty average game, but with the 5 times it certainly makes it look like a heck of a lot more, getting 8,000 and 80,000 credits. But yeah, I mean, this was it just showed that we were able to teamwork randomly with people. And I mean, that happens. On occasion you'll see what someone's doing and you'll kind of pick up on their, I don't want to say their body language, but that's technically what it would be considered. And you're able to work with them by just judging and seeing what they're doing and the help that they're going to require. And if you're able to do that, you're going to be able to, make a huge difference in a game. And not necessarily with your platoon, because yeah, you can communicate with them over voice chat and everything, but if you're able to also see what someone's doing and kind of analyze it and think, hey, they need me to go over here so I can assist them, that's going to really make a big difference too, instead of just standing there and popping shots when you get a chance over like their engine block or something into the hull of a different tank. So I still highly recommend you grab yourself a platoon. I would much prefer seeing platoons in games than I do seeing solos, because I know that platoons are able to communicate and work together so much better. But, I mean, I understand that sometimes you're playing solo because your buddies aren't on, or your buddies aren't into the game, or anything else like that. But if you see a platoon on your team, you know that you probably want to assist them the best you can, because they're going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting. And that's not to say that you can't do it on your own solo, just saying that sense of ability to communicate really does make all the difference in the world in this game. Alright, so now we'll move on to another battle here.
Let's go.
So, I've had the GW Tiger played before, and I didn't have the upgraded gun when I was using it. And I usually didn't like this GW at all. at first I thought it was way too small of a gun traverse, only, what, maybe 6 degrees to either side, if that, and just not that great of splash damage, not that great of impact damage, very slow, so on and so forth. But now that I have it fully upgraded, well, I'll let this replay speak for itself. While it's a 38-second reload, which I can bring down with the rammer, which I haven't purchased yet, or with the Brothers in Arms, which I'm still waiting for one crew member to get before I can put Brothers in Arms in, it is very fantastic now that I've upgraded it. And it's kind of re-energized my love of artillery. And I mean, this is my first game with this heavy cannon. As I was saying, this is the first game I've had with this heavy cannon. I haven't used it before, and all I have to say is, wow, does it make a ton of difference. Just absolutely phenomenal, the fact that it can just do crazy amounts of splash damage. The direct impacts are fantastically deadly. Just, I love the tank. It's a great tank. Now, I'm calling out my targets here. It's just that apparently it's not showing up in the screen when I do it. It comes down in the bottom. But one thing you should always do, so it helps out your team, helps out your teammates, is mark your targets when you're going to already strike them. I sometimes do it a little too early. I know everyone tells you that you should mark your targets. That's because there's good reason. That way everyone knows, either try and track it, try and hit it a little bit so that your shell's either going to finish it or they're going to finish it after your shell hits them. Just, it basically calls out, this guy's going to get railed, so get ready, so everyone targets him and make sure he dies. And that's one of the great things about artillery. And of course, as I was saying earlier, working with platoons is the fact that I can then call out and be like, hey, this guy's my target, help me make sure that he dies. Oh, and that was I forgot that this game's actually against a super platoon of ours. We have a few other teammates on the other team, or was it just one? I'm not sure. I think it was just Pork Chop over there who I killed. Oh, nope, Cage isn't in the GW Tiger. But as you can see, that mouse is just hanging out, standing still. So I'm definitely going to hit him again if I get the opportunity. But with a 30-second reload, it's not exactly the, or not even 30, it's like closer to 40-second reload. It might take a little bit longer of a attempt to do that. But, man, this tank's just deadly. I love it. And of course, that's a direct hit without me being able to see it. Now, the nice thing is I'm able to call out to whichever two of my teammates who needs help where after every shot. And either Creekman or Gilly's able to say, hey, we got this over here. He's kind of hanging still. He's almost dead. Please direct fire here. And that's a heck of a lot. It'd be great if artillery had that ability to communicate with your full team. So you can be like, hey, I'm aiming in this zone because, well, for one, it takes forever to range in sometimes. And two, because between each reload, you need to let your team know that, hey, I'm reloading. Who needs me to lay shells in my next shot? If you could actually communicate with your whole team, that would be fantastic. Be like, okay, I'm ready for a shot. I'm in this zone. Who needs me to either redirect or what do you see? Can you track this guy? Something like that. And that'd be fantastic if that was a possibility to voice chat your whole platoon or your whole team. I know it would get a little hectic with 15 people trying to talk over each other, but just the sheer fact of being able to kind of direct your artillery or being able to even call back to your artillery. Hey, we got, 3 tanks over here, 2 are tier 10s, 1's a tier 8. We'll track the tier 10 for you, just rail into them. And then stuff like that would make all the difference in the world if that was possible for you guys to communicate like that. But of course, in the heat of battle, no one's going to be able to sit there and type out, need artillery, A5, at this T110, E5, tracking now, stuff like that, because you can't be like, okay, well, I just fired a round, so I got 40 seconds, so your shot tracking him is going to be a waste. And sadly, it would be fantastic if you could do that sort of communication. And there goes to show you, even though I swear that shell hit underneath him, that, it still, the splash damage was phenomenal. I'm getting pelted by some tank. Luckily, I'm going to be able to drop my concealment here, because taking that much damage, not good. Definitely don't want to be hit anymore because, yeah, 63 hit points is a blessing I even have that much left so I can target out some of these tanks. Like this 62A. If I can finish, or someone finishes them off, will be great. But if not, we're in trouble. But we do. So narrowing it down a little further, it's just the communication that you have with a team, or not with a team, with a platoon, really does separate you from when you have communication with nobody. Because again, I'm able to call out my shots, yeah, but in all honesty, if you're not paying attention a lot to your chat down below, it's going to be hard to see, oh hey, this tank just called it out that he's raining in on this guy as opposed to something else over here or there. And it's if you have voice communication with your platoon or with your team, but sadly you only have it with your platoon, you can actually make those sorts of calls. Or if you're working in tandem with other artillery, you can be like, hey, let's focus fire, burn down this mouse here, 2 shots from, 2 artillery pieces and he'll be dead. And then you can coordinate that sort of fire. And or you can say, hey, I don't have a shot here, can you blow out this building so that my shot can hit? It's that stuff to like our like E50. If I could say, hey, I got a shot on this E5, but I need you to take out a building for me first, they'd gladly take that shot, take out the building so that your shell can land. Or you can coordinate it and say, hey, I'm going to fire a shot. As soon as I fire, shoot the building so he doesn't have time to react, which is something that we've done in the past. And that is phenomenally hilarious. When a tank thinks he's safe behind a destructible building, you coordinate, your artillery piece fires, and as soon as he fires, or shortly delayed, depending on what his travel time is, 1 or 2 seconds, you can coordinate that hit on the building to take the building out, and then the shell cruises in immediately after and has the possibility of full damage through the side armor of a tank. And it's hilarious when it does that, and that's something you can never coordinate with just a standard team. If you have communication, then that'd be great, because I mean, we've done it plenty of times, and it's just the ability to do something like that is something that you only wish you could do on a team level. Just coordinating like the artillery striking and the tracking of a tank, so on and so forth. Of course, I'm going to waste a shell here, but you can't turn down a kill when a kill is available. Plus, it gets something off the battlefield. No, I didn't. Okay, that's good to know. I thought that I would have. Knowing me. Not to say I would steal, but it's more the fact of I would rather have something be dead and off the field than not. And that goes a long way of saying that, something dead is far better than something still alive with 2 hit points, because anything alive is still a gun firing back and can potentially kill your team. Now, luckily, oh no, that mouse just killed Gilly. Nope, not the mouse, the E5. Can't stop that though. But should be able to finish off this mouse with 1 more shot, or he'll get destroyed by the Lorraine, which is good. So that leaves just 2 other tanks, the E4 and the E5. Both are great tanks, so just got to be careful with them. Geo. Now, okay, I thought that was somebody else. I was like, that name's familiar. But yep. So ranging in, kill off the E4, and just further proving to myself that, hey, this upgraded gun really does make a difference. And that's something to say. Don't knock your tank until you've played with the upgraded version of it a bunch of times. Because, yeah, while I originally hated this GW, and I was to the point where I had to take advice from Gilly, where he'd say, only play it 1 or 2 games a night. Don't bother going for the double. Just play it 1 or 2 games just to get the experience on it, because otherwise you're going to burn yourself out on a gun that isn't that great. And, I did it, and I managed to get up, I'd say about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way to the new gun before I was like, to hell with it, I'm just going to burn the free experience, and I did. And all the difference in the world when getting the upgraded cannon. And so, with that, as you can see, didn't do that bad. 4 kills, 3,000 damage I could see, and we'll go take a look at the screen cap for that. So there you have it. First game with the upgraded cannon made all the difference in the world. I was at 3,400 experience, 55, for lack of better terms, credits, and I got mastery in this thing. And that was just a first attempt at it, at the upgraded cannon, after I continually said that this tank isn't all that great, and that he couldn't understand how to play it very well. So, that goes to show you that no matter what, even if I say a tank isn't that good, it is very good if you use it properly and get lucky. And yeah, I mean, this goes into that resolution. I said that if I find a tank is terrible, I will work my best to try and make it better. And this is one of those circumstances where it was unupgraded, it wasn't very good when it's unupgraded, it's just mediocre at best. But then once you start putting all the parts into it, getting the upgraded cannon, getting the upgraded engine and tracks, complete world of difference, and you get mastery in my first attempt with it. You can see I damaged what? 3, 6, 7 people, half the team I damaged, destroying 4 of them, destroying parts and pieces on almost every tank I've hit except the mouse. That's just fantastic. And again, getting mastery on a tank for the first attempt in that tank with that gun, not bad at all. Now, I know that I need to get the ammo rammer, but I'm kind of waiting and biding my time until they get the, what do you want to call it, the sale for equipment again, because I'm going to be dropping almost all of that. What do I have, 5 million credits? Yeah, 5 million credits into purchasing all that equipment once they put it on sale. So, yeah. Anyway, it would be great if they could communicate artillery or team instead of just my platoon. But sometimes you have to divide your platoon up when you're artillery, so that way you can communicate back and forth on the different flanks of the field, so you can see what happens. Anyway, I will move on, do one more little thing here, and then call it from there. So normally I don't start the recording this early in the battle, but I want you to check the comments here. This is going to be a little bit of a trolling game that we're going to play. As you can see, they have a platoon of 59s who think they're great, and they're talking about how we have a platoon of 2801s, and they think that we're basically going to hamper our team. What they don't know is that we all are rocking gold ammunition in the 2801s, and we all have the 10.5 derp cannon on it. So, needless to say, this thing penetrates anything it faces, and does 300 damage and loads every 6 seconds. So, yeah, I don't think that they're quite ready for the power of a 2801 platoon. And this is going to go to show you, and this is kind of what I wanted to bring this whole episode to a close on, is just how good that platooning, one good platoon can make a difference. And of course, we also have another great platoon that is our top tiers. And so, you know, we're just going to wait a little bit, buy our time, wait for everyone to spread out, because, I mean, that's kind of our plan as all lights here, is to just work out, wait and see where everyone goes, and then sneak down the center, taking out everything. Not worrying too much about anything else. But, as you can see, 2 shells just landed on that Easy 8 for, what? Almost all of his hit points, and then the third lands there and kills him. So it's, yeah. 2801s are a force to actually be reckoned with, and I don't think that the 59 platoon is really ready for it. We already know that they're probably heading to cap, because that's where the one medium is right now. And so we're going to have a little fun. We're able to communicate right now back and forth saying, okay, it looks like they're dividing up, give it another minute, and then we're going to run straight down the center and take out their artillery piece. I think we want to let things disappear a bit, because we don't want to have to go and fight certain tanks later on. And of course, at some angles, you're obviously going to bounce no matter what you do. And the slow travel time of the 10.5, you're not going to penetrate everything. But note for a fact, all the Type 59s are over there. And so we know that it's good enough and safe enough that we're going to go ahead and rush back, take out their artillery, and then swing around to the back of the cap, which is our plan all along, because you want to kind of let people get overcommitted, swing around behind them so they have to choose their targets. Face the big things in front or face the little annoying mosquitoes in the back. And then, of course, being the little annoying mosquitoes with gigantic cannons, well, they're not going to have much option as to what they're going to do or how they're going to survive. Now, trying to find this Hummel before we move on, because the Hummel's going to make all the difference in the world if we can finish him off. That way we don't have to deal with him. And there he is. Going to quickly just spot him out, line up my shot, take him out, and then move on. So there we go. Finish him off, now go ahead and move on. And go after those Type 59s. As you can see, they're already capping, not a big deal, but we already have our communication going. We have, who is that, Gilly? Yep, Gilly's up in the front. We relayed to him that he needs to go ahead and push the cap, slowly start taking them off of it. Because we do have a good line there, but it's hard to kind of break through it until you can get some stuff around it. And of course, they made a nice little secure stop right there. And so, there we go. We are now able to push on. We have it completely encircled. And they're going to be in trouble here in just a second. That 59 platoon, still wondering if they are going to think that they're all that. And it's a little bit of trolling, like I said. Normally we don't troll at all. I don't like to troll. But they kind of earned it with what they said earlier. And look at this. We're going to be able to finish off not only 159, but 259s, the KVs on the cap, and the 3485, which isn't that big of a threat. But I'm bouncing right off the little slope of the turret on the 59. But the simple fact that we're now surrounding them, taking them out piece by piece. If I can land that shot, there you go, finish a 59. The last 59's just hanging out there. I think he's a little bit in trouble. So, there you go. Missed him. Ooh. Oh, glanced off the front of him. Repaired the ammunition rack just because I want to. And there we go. Secured the cap. And, yeah. So, the 2801 platoon with only me taking a little bit of damage, I'd say that we kind of outdid their 59 platoon, and we have, what, 5 kills between us? So, yeah. A little bit of heckling now on our end, just because we can. But yeah, to be honest, we were all using gold ammunition because, well, we've chalked this up to, what do you want to call it? The 2801 is a great troll tank, and that's what we've kind of turned it into. And it's kind of fun when you want to have stuff to do when you're a little fast platoon. You're able to communicate, split your little forces up, you know where to go. Have fun. And of course, I don't know. I just want to show you guys this because it was a fun little troll and we were able to get 5 kills between the 2801s. And it was basically the two platoons did fantastic with a little bit of assistance from the team. Just completely crushed the other team. And their platoon of Type 59s were good, but we were able to surround them and it was, it just worked out that way. So, there you have it. Fun little trolling there with the 2801s. Have a little bit of the, I guess that's the Frowny Face clan. I don't exactly remember who they are, and that's my bad for not paying attention to clans in the end result, but there you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will definitely work on platooning with people. Makes all the difference in the world in communication. Totally key. So there you go. Three random games. I just wanted to have a little fun. So there you go. I'll catch you guys in the next episode of my Let's Play, and I will see you guys then.